Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 50 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I can't believe it's episode 50 already, it's insane. I've got some stuff going on today. Might want to just tidy up a few things around the base, just to prepare for the fact that we've got a world download available coming. Yep, world download today. Maybe even fill in a few creeper holes to make sure that, this world is nice and ready for you guys to download. But don't worry, I'm not going to be spending the whole episode filling in creeper holes. That might be boring. I do want to point out something that I did between episodes. I was racking my brain. Remember the last few episodes, we've been having trouble with our canola production. I fixed it! Look, we've got 6 stacks of canola and about half a stack, coming up with a little bit more, of canola seeds. And even better is that's all with this thing running. I turned on my wither spawner because I wanted more wither skeleton skulls. So they're running and doing their thing. Nice. And getting me all kinds of withery type things. So, how did I fix my canola? Well, if you were paying really close attention, you might already know. Did you notice? It was on the screen. The solution is right here inside this little tiny new storage drawer. Bone meal. Bone meal can be placed inside a farming station and will automatically apply the bone meal in its radius, aka area of effect, aka hitting all the different canola plants. Woot. So what did I do to set this up? Well, if we pop downstairs into our basement, we'll see that I added to the sag mill a recipe for bone meal. It was already there. 6 bone meal comes out of 1 bone. Nice. Downstairs, we just set up an export bus on our drawer controller, and we set it to export bone meal and to do a crafting upgrade, aka meaning you can craft when you're trying to put bone meal in here. And then we set this guy up to not only insert on green, but also extract on black. And all the way over here, it's inserting on black. The only thing that it can insert, in reality, would be canola seeds and bone meal. Neat. So, we're now inserting bone meal endlessly into this machine. And you can see every time it uses it, it gets more and fills it back up, which is pretty awesome. And that has significantly increased the speed at which bone meal, the canola oil, that is being produced. So even in the time I was talking, we earned about a stack's worth of canola, which is awesome. Where am I getting all the bones from? Dun 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 dun. Blood magic. This thing's still running. Did you guys forget about it? I hope not. We've got quite a lot of bones going on here. So we're extracting bones from this basic drawer, but skeletons are spawning all the time in here. And creating endless amounts of bones and arrows and rotten flesh and string and gunpowder and anything else in here. A couple ender pearls, a couple raw chickens, feathers. We're getting a few feathers and chickens. I assume those are from baby zombies spawning on chickens. So, how cool is that? We've solved our canola problem. Now, clearly, we're up to 8 stacks of canola, by the way. 8 stacks now. Like, it was 7 plus a minute ago, and now it's 8 plus. And we're using canola all the time because I've got a large amount of expensive machines running. I think this guy's still processing a few ores. So lots of power is being sucked up over there. This thing's running. And as we can probably recall, it's using 3,200 R per tick, so it's expensive for sure. Nice. So yeah, long story short, awesome. Real quick, just want to take a peek down here, make sure you're not getting too full just yet. So that was the solution. Now, clearly I could have just made a bigger farm, but like sometimes I like to challenge myself and kind of think outside the box or find other solutions to problems, right? Easily I could have made a dedicated farm, put an octadic capacitor in here and like almost doubled the size of this area, and then it would have had, twice as much canola production, right? But for fun, I wanted to see if I could find a way to do it with the same size that I already had, and I did. We're getting way more canola than we're using right now, even with, this crazy amount of stuff happening down here. Now, granted, we're still doing the redstone thing, so to save on redstone, I'm going to just pop down here. I've already taken Beef Wellington out of this. I'm just going to shift-click this interface export. Now, we're no longer doing redstone, right? As soon as these guys burn up, there's about a stacks left in the thing down there, but as soon as they burn up, it's going to stop doing the redstone thing. And we're going to see how our canola production fares without redstone available. Now, if I need to, I can put the redstone back in there, and that would be easy enough. So, canola is back to our main source of power, which is exciting to me. And obviously, I'm running the wither skeleton spawner, which is expensive. but I wanted more wither skeleton skulls because withers. Yeah. What else would we like to work on today? Well, we got some cool stuff last episode. We got a bunch of upgrades, and we got a bunch of cool things, and we got a nifty little teleporter, which is super cool. I can right-click and teleport home. Boom. We also took a look at the fact that our deep dark spawner, or our deep dark, how cool is that? Quarry has completely finished quarrying. And we're going to want to do something about this. What that something is, I still haven't decided. I wrapped up last episode talking about the quantum quarry from Extra Utilities, which is a nice way to get a ton of different resources. The thing about the Deep Dark, though, is you get more resources than a general world. Like, there's I think it's twice as many resources are available. Like, look at these giant, like, nodes of ore. Just looking in the walls here, you can kind of see it. Assuming that, you know, after rendering this and putting it on YouTube, you guys will be able to see well enough. But there's tons of ores pretty much available. And so the Deep Dark is definitely a nice place to get ores. You'll get more out of the Deep Dark than you will out of a normal quarry. So what I might do is move this real quick. I said I was going to do it between episodes. I'll just do it between cuts. So, like, I'll stop recording here in a moment, set up a new quarry, and then we'll go. I think that's, yeah, good job, Skeleton. Nice try. You're adorable. Okay. Yeah, let's relocate this thing, and then maybe after the next time it runs out, we'll set up a quantum quarry. Does that sound like a plan? Yeah. So I'm going to move this, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, just set up the boundaries and testing to make sure that I did it correctly. I am keeping an eye on the Y level that it's mining at. It's always the Y level that's a little bit tricky to enter correctly. So kind of, as long as this hits Y level 1 or whatever, then we should be cool. Nice. Perfect. Now it's doing another chunk. Sweet. Let's go see if we can find that. So it was like off in this direction-ish. If I can find it, cool. If not, not the end of the world. Dun 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 dun. I wish I had, like, entered the coordinates of where I placed it, but that would have been smart. Is this me? Ah, there's me. Cool. So, we're clearing. And as you can see, we're totally clearing out and hitting bedrock. As long as we hit bedrock, we're cool. Right? So, let's teleport back to the Deep Dark so that we can turn this lever off, because this was a testing lever. Now we're going to make sure that we're bound to our redstone receiver. So now if we teleport home, dun dun dun, and stop traveling myself downstairs, turn this lever on, we should be getting stuff. Should be getting stuff, should be getting stuff. Forgot to chunk load the Deep Dark location that has the whatchamacallit in it, F3G. Oh good, I did put it inside chunk boundaries. Cool. I forgot to chunk load this. Haha. Shift right click to remove it, right click to remove it, left click, shift left click. Now you're chunk loaded. Now we can go home and lever, getting items. Nice. That's what I wanted to see. Yay, diamonds and draconium. Pretty much most of the things that I wanted to get. That's awesome. So that's neat. Now we've got both things running now, so we're like crushing our RF Protect production. Like we're generating plenty here. You're doing actually not a terrible job, but not a great job either. Let's go see what's up with that. We're going to turn you off for the time being, and we could probably take a nap. Dun dun dun. And then we're going to keep an eye on everything for a minute. I could probably do with turning off the wither skeleton skulls. How's my wither? We've got another decent amount. Let's turn this off and give my power production system a break for a minute. I want to go check on our canola situation and our bone meal and make sure that everything's behaving there. Yeah, we've got plenty of canola. We're down to 5 stacks, but to be fair, we just had a lot of really powerful stuff running. And bone meal's still working beautifully, so we're good. We're good, we're not great on power gen. There's options, luckily. And we'll probably get into those in the next set of episodes. For now, let's come back in a minute. I want to see what else I'm going to do before I wrap up for episode 50's world download. So one of the things I've wanted probably for a while now and haven't gotten around to making is a nice ranged weapon. A bow would be nice to have for some of our adventures that we're going to go on. And I feel like since we're getting into draconic stuff, a bow of the Wyvern might be cool. Now, the bow of the Wyvern has some options. It looks like we can enchant it, which is cool. That's neat. Wonder if we have the thing that means infinity means we don't need arrows in our inventory. That would be kind of cool. We can also throw power on there. But the other thing we can do is upgrade it courtesy of the Draconic upgrade system, which I'd like to show you guys. There's upgrades for the amount of RF it can hold, arrow damage speed, and draw speed. Awesome stuff. So I want to test a few things in terms of how much power we can get into this thing and how powerful we can make it. I'm going to show you guys how to upgrade your tools and armor. We've got one set of armor. We might even get a few more pieces, like the chest plate and the leggings and a few other things. Oh, cool. Electric jetpack. Neat. And then there's upgrades we can apply on these guys, right? Like the helmet can have movement speed and shield capacity and recovery, and so can the chest plate and all kinds of other good stuff. So there's a bunch of upgrades we can place on our armor as well. But I want to get the bow going first. So let's get that. So to see what we have, we don't have anything. So let's get a regular, fully functional bow. And then we're going to want a Wyvern core and a Wyvern energy core. That's going to require a bunch of stuff. Dun, 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 dun. And then in addition, we're going to want the Wyvern core and some draconium ingots. Cool. And I'm pretty sure that's the Nether Star one, right? Yeah, it is. Cool. Bow of the Wyvern. That's definitely an expensive one. I think that needs a bunch of draconium ingots, really. Nice. So that's good to go. Short 2 draconium ingots, which we'll get now. 1, 2. And we'll just make sure this guy's in there. Nice. Bow of the Wyvern, which should charge up my inventory using the battery that I have. Which, this holds 4 million, the battery holds 2 million. But then the battery's going to recharge itself with the wireless charger I've got. So that's not going to be too big of a problem. Neat. So we've got a Bow of the Wyvern, right? We need arrows. Out of arrows, it tells me on the bottom right. And there's all kinds of other attributes. Now, the other cool thing is, remember when we hit the plus icon and we went to our HUD, we were able to change some HUD config stuff? One of the other things you can do in here is manipulate any attributes of any Draconic Evolution items you have. So, for example, the Wyvern helm. Once we add some upgrades here, we'll be able to tweak things. I believe the Wyvern bow has some modifiers built into it already. So right now we can see our arrow base damage. And all these things affect the amount of RF it takes to fire an arrow, right? So the higher you tweak these and the more attributes you go with, the more RF it's going to cost. So you can see on the bottom right there, see how it says RF per shot 1920? Okay, that's cool. What I'd like to do, maybe is even change this HUD. Let's see. Fade out. Toggle hidden. This one, fade out 75%. That toggles what goes on the bottom right there. I might fade out full, because then what it'll do is when this thing's here, it'll fade out all the way. Am I right about that? Yeah, well, nice. That's kind of cool. And I wonder if I can set the bottom left thing to fade out full. And I think when I take damage, it'll show back up, and I just want to verify that. Come on, skeletons, let's go. See? It shows back up, and then when I'm no longer taking damage, it'll eventually fade out all the way. Neat, right? I like that setting. I like it a lot, actually. And we're going to keep it, because it's good. So we can modify all kinds of attributes, and this affects... So arrow base damage, right? This is how much damage it'll do. But it's also multiplied by arrow velocity to get the actual damage, right? An arrow velocity modifier, you can adjust how much speed it is, right? So if we increase the arrow velocity, we'll notice that now it's 6,480 RF per shot instead of the original, like, close to 2,000, right? But that's going to do more damage as well. Auto fire automatically fires when fully charged. So if you're holding right click, as soon as it's fully charged or like fully pulled back on the bowstring, it'll automatically fire instead of releasing right click. Explosion power, And magnification. That's actually kind of a cool setting we're going to take a look at. So let's see. Arrows, let's get like a stack, right? And we can see here that every time we fire an arrow, it's going to cost RF. And if we go outside, whoosh, far away from our base, we're not going to recharge our thing. So 2 million RF, I shoot a bow at something like a sheep. Boom. And it used some RF to fire that bow, right? Right around the 6,000-ish, 480 that it said it would use. So that's actually perfectly working. Neat. One of the other attributes we can do is if we turn on magnification. So 300 magnification, boom, it kind of zooms in for us for a little bit of a sniper feel. Yeah, that's so cool. I like it a lot. And we can tweak these stats, which is neat. So let's go take a nap, and then we're gonna adjust these a little bit. Now I really wish we had like a way to measure the amount of damage this bow was doing, like in hearts. I mean, I could maybe like shoot it straight up or something and like let it hit me and see how much damage it does. Won't that like count? Is it gonna come back down? I was hoping it would. Hey, ow. It did come back down. Nice. What if I took off this armor piece, right? It took a while to come back down, but shooting straight up totally worked. Boom. Right? I'm just kind of curious, right? Without a shield on, how much damage this does, right? So currently I've got full yellow hearts. Ow. 1.5 hearts, right? Now if I change this modifier for the speed down to 0%, it'll probably not go as far, and it'll come back sooner. And that did a heart, right? So its speed modifier increases the amount of damage it's going to do, which makes perfect sense. So now what I'd like to do is enchant this bow. So apparently we can do that. And if we look at the usages of it, it says enchantments, power, right? So what if we got a power book? Do we have any of those? If not, we can make one. Courtesy of this bad boy over here, right? So we'll take these guys out, and we're going to look up power. What would be power? Feather falling, projectile protection, respiration. What looks like it might be power sharpness, smite, bane of arthropods, fire aspect, looting, knockback. Looking for fortune, power, flint. Okay, cool. So we can do that, right? Flint seems easy enough. Flint and lapis, and a book. Putting these things away for now. Book. I'll just get a stack and half a stack respectively because I don't know exactly how much I need. And we're going to put this together, and it's telling me I need 33 levels. Remember to always get the exact amount that you need to save on levels. So that's cool. Put this stuff away. Now, in my anvil, I should be able to combine these two for an expensive 5 levels. I don't know if it's intended that you're supposed to be able to enchant these, because there's upgrades that can be applied to it too, but hey, I mean, why not? Let's give it a shot now. So, speed modifier, 100%. Let's see how much damage it does to me now with power on it. I'm just curious if this is going to do more than 1.5 hearts worth of damage, right? Because it might not. This is a test to find out. So that was only 1.5 hearts. So I don't know if power is really making an effect on the amount of damage that this bow is doing. But it doesn't hurt to have it enchanted. Let's upgrade it now. So there's upgrades we can apply, which is cool. If you notice with Draconic here, when you hold control over this, it says what upgrades are available. Currently, there are no upgrades applied. Our options are RF capacity, arrow damage, arrow speed, and draw speed. Right? So if we want to increase arrow damage, all we have to do is find the appropriate upgrade key. RF capacity, dig speed, dig AoE, attack damage, attack AoE. These are things that are applied to things like the sword, right? Attack damage, attack AoE. The key matches up with the name of the upgrade that's available. What we're looking for is arrow damage. Cool. So to make one of these, that's the recipe. You only ever have to make one, which is good news. So let's make arrow damage key. Right, so that's going to be, I'm going to need 2 draconic cores and 2 draconium ingots, okay? So 2 draconic cores, that will craft rather quickly. And 2 draconium ingots. Okay, and now my upgrade key for arrow damage should be ready. Now, if we check the usages of this, we'll find out how you can use them. So there's 4 tiers of upgrades that we can apply. Basic, Wyvern, Draconic, and Chaotic, which match with the 4 tiers of crafting injectors. So basically, if you want to apply the basic version of this, you can. If you want to apply the Wyvern version, I think you have to apply the basic or the basic one first. I think. See, it says on here it requires arrow damage basic, so it has to have already gotten the arrow damage basic. And if you check in the book, aka the information tablet, you can see under here Draconic Arbor, Fusion Crafting Energy Network Upgrade System. There we go. So you can read all about it. Most upgrades have 4 different tiers. You must have the previous tier applied before you can apply a higher tier. So in other words, because we currently have a Wyvern Fusion Crafting Injector, and we have access to Wyvern level stuff, we can get the Wyvern level bow upgrade, right? So what we're going to do is get the usages of arrow damage. We're going to apply the basic one, and then we're going to apply the Wyvern one, and we'll see how much damage we get there. So basic is going to require 2 golden apples, 2 diamonds, 2 eyes of ender, and a draconic core. Okay, so draconic core times 1. Apple, 2 golden apples, 2 diamonds, 2 eyes of ender, and a draconic core, and the upgrade key. So we go over here, we install this guy in here, this, and the arrow damage key. And you'll see that it's now appropriate, right? And it's going to charge up, and it's going to use RF to produce this. There goes the RF flowing into the machines. This guy's going to start his crafting mechanic. And then we're going to test and see how much damage it does. While that's cooking, let's check out the next tier of it, just because I want to have the items ready for it. So for Wyvern, we're going to need 2 nether stars, 2 draconic cores, 2 emeralds, and a Wyvern core. Okay, so a Wyvern core, 2 emeralds, 2 nether stars. What was that other set of items? 2 draconic cores, which I'll ask for after the Wyvern cores are done being made, because they're a prerequisite. Cool. So that, and then 2 of these. Which, by the way, I'm going to have to go find another meteor in the end. Oh, wow. And the power generator kicked on. Did I leave this running? Yeah, I did. That's why. Like, why is my generator downstairs running? Oh, right. I want to check on my canola at the moment. Still doing good. A little bit low, but not the end of the world. Probably because I turned off redstone, remember? So this bow is done. Notice that your upgrade key remains, so you can reuse that key over and over. And if we take a look now, our arrow damage has been increased. And if we bring up this modifier screen, arrow base damage, we can now bump it up to 4x. Cool, right? So now, RF per shot is 10,000. 10,000 RF per shot of this arrow, which is crazy, but hilarious. Let's try it out and see how much damage I take. Whoosh. And remember, you can upgrade your speed as well, which we might do. Arrow damage coming down. Ow. Dude, 3 hearts of damage. Nice. And it makes sense, right? It was 1.5. We just doubled it. Now it's 3. Super cool. Let's upgrade it again. Dun, 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 dun. So nether stars times 2. And remember, by the way, there's an RF cost to this. And keep an eye on that, because things get more expensive, right? It's going to cost me 4 million RF to upgrade this. All right. The next tier, 256 million RF. We don't have draconic tier stuff yet, but just keep that in mind, right? 2 billion RF. I don't think chaotic is even implemented yet. Or maybe it is by now. I'm not sure. He's updated the mod once or twice since I've really last looked into it. So is that everything we need? Oh, right. I need my these 2. Cool. Start. So for 4 million RF, we're going to get even more damage available to us. Cool. Come back when this is done. Alrighty then. Fusion crafting complete. Poof. Let's give this guy a try now. You ready? So this arrow base damage can now go up to 6. And remember, I'm wearing a decent amount of armor for this. Nice. And I might turn off the magnification for now, but just keep in mind that it's an option, right? And you can slide that slider anywhere up and down that line. Ow. Wow, that was a decent amount of damage. Also, I'm hungry. Probably because of generator running. But hey, how cool is that, man? That thing is like crazy good now. If we really wanted to, we could upgrade... What other upgrades are available on this thing? The arrow speed and the draw speed. Arrow speed would increase the speed at which the arrow travels. And therefore indirectly also increasing the damage it does. So I want to test out this awesome new bow here. So let's add a new destination called the Nether. Just so I can get here easily without going through the portal anymore. Ooh, did you see that? I want to test it against a slightly stronger enemy, such as one of these guys. Dude, one-shotting wither skeletons already. That is awesome. I might want a faster draw speed. I also might want to try putting infinity on it, if I may. Nice. Dude, one-shot wither skeleton. I will take it. That is cool. That is really cool. I don't know how much damage this does, but it's a lot. By comparison to my sword, by the way, which takes how many shots to kill a wither skeleton? 1, 2. So it does twice as much damage, at least, as my sword does already. Possibly more than twice as much, because I don't have a real good measurable metric to figure that out. Teleport home. So guys, the next thing I want to check out is... Can I get infinity on this thing? Because that would be cool. For 15 or 17 levels. That seems reasonable. Boom. And then to put it together, it would be 5. You and you. Nice. Now, does that mean I don't need arrows at all? Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I don't need arrows in my inventory. That is super cool. So, we've got a really nice bow. Oh man, that is cool. Yeah, game, set, match. All done. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Have a good night. I don't know what to say about that. And it can get even more powerful. Like, what's crazier about it, too, is that's not even, like, the best bow that Draconic has. Draconic has a whole nother tier of items and weapons. This guy, now he does say attack speed 4, attack damage 1. So I don't know what the difference is with the Draconic bow versus the bow of the Wyvern. I don't know if it just holds more RF or if it's better in some way in terms of like the amount of base damage it does. But this guy can also be upgraded, I assume. 64,000 RF, so it's not expensive to upgrade. Doesn't need any upgrades on it to upgrade. And then upgrade keys can be applied to the Draconic ones. So, what's the book say about it? Draconic tools. Neat. Looks pretty cool. Draconic bow. Upgradable to 500%. Explosive power. Oh, that's cool. Allows for some other features. Shockwave power. That's cool. Yeah. So once we get to the Awakened tier, which, by the way, any Awakened tier items that we need requires a Dragon Heart. And 350 million RF to make the Awakened Draconian block. So we're going to need to do a few things next few episodes. I think what I'd like to do next is increase my total energy storage availability. And I'll probably work on, and I'm going to need a lot of Draconium for this, getting the Draconic energy storage system going. That's probably where I'm going to go next. right? So that'll be one of the things we start working on. We're going to need a lot of draconium. In order to get that draconium, we can continue to explore the end and find those things, but I'd like to maybe get into RF Tools dimension creation time. Might be a nice time next couple episodes to work towards that, because once we can create our own custom dimensions, we can specify what attributes those dimensions have, like having lots of draconium available. And if we have lots of draconium available, then we can get all we want, right? And we can do that for a couple other things. So I'd like to have a bunch of custom dimensions that are suitable to my needs, right? And then we'll kind of go from there. But for now, it's time to wrap up the episode. So here's what I'm gonna do. As usual, gonna go throw all my items that I have here into a nice little chest for you guys. That'll just sit right here. And my world download will be made available to you. As usual, you know, I'm gonna unclaim my chunks, so you shouldn't have any problems with chunk claiming. Cool, so now you've got all my good stuff. For now, Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode and the series thus far. We have a lot more upgrades and powerful stuff I'd like to work towards. There's a ton of things I'd like to do, to be honest with you. I'd like to do more with Blood Magic. I'd like to do more with Botania. I'd like to do more with Draconic Evolution. More power storage, more power production for RF. We're producing a decent-ish amount of power right now, but still not as much as I'd like. One of my goals, by the way, for the series is to make the rainbow generator. We are going to work towards being able to make one of these. It's a crazy generator. Not to give too much away, but basically you need to have all the other generators from extra utilities running at the exact same time next to the rainbow generator, and the rainbow generator itself requires crafting with all those different types. So pretty much all these generators have to be running at the same time. And if they are, and the rainbow generator is down, you produce a large amount of RF. But we'll also probably get into extreme reactors too, because that rainbow generator one's a little bit trickier to automate than you might think. For now, wrapping up point. Direwolf20 signing off. Take it easy.